Okay. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So we'll wait like 2 more minutes. While you wait, in the chat box, type your favorite thing about your class or a class that you work in. And Miss Ruby, can you just screenshot the participants for me when you get a chance, please? All right. And I'll do it at the end, but I'll probably forget. All right. Favorite thing, Miss Pam Mason says, getting hugs from my babies. Cassie says, I love how open all the kids have become now that they know me well, and we've been together for a while now. I love my kids and all the kids dearly. And Jessica writes, we love to do art, music, and love getting messy. Shelby writes, them yelling my name as soon as I walk in the room. Someone's iPhone, they wrote, I love that I received my babies and my wonderful coworker. The love that she receives from her babies and the wonderful coworker. Barbie writes, when I can officially say a child is potty trained, including nap time, woohoo, less diaper changes. That's a big success in the twos. Some kids come into preschool not potty trained, so that's a big deal. We got 1 more minute, and then we'll start.
Just go on right here.
If your microphone is not muted, just mute it until you want to share something, because there's always a lot of background noise in the recording when people rewatch. Okay. I think we've waited long enough. If they're not here, they can still join us. Let's get started. Oh, Abigail, she writes, I love seeing the kids happy with the activities that we plan for them to do. It's motivation. Love it. All right. Thank you guys for participating. Okay, so here we are with our May staff meeting. We're going to have a small training in this one and some very important information. So stay tuned until the end. Here we go. Okay, so we want to welcome to our school Katie, who's now a flex teacher. She's trying out different rooms. Sydney, flex teacher, she was trying out different rooms. Cassidy will be starting Monday. She will also be a flex teacher. And Madison, who's starting Wednesday, she is typically an elementary school teacher, so she will be here for the summer, and she's going to be working with the summer program. Super staff member of the month of April. So this person during the month of April, we were watching some observational videos and have heard them in the halls, have seen them in the classroom, and listened to coworkers. And this person is punctual and dependable. That's a big deal, especially last week. Punctuality and dependability. Works to try and support each individual child with their social, emotional, and academic needs. When needed, uses an assertive, even tone when disciplining children. So that was last month's training, was your assertive voice, and it's very different than your passive voice, kind of like you're asking the kids permission if they're okay with doing it, and then your aggressive voice, where you're yelling and you're very loud and demanding all the time, and there's nowhere to go from that voice. It's just, you're up there already. This person uses their assertive, even, level tone. Appreciative of support and constructive guidance from others. She's really listened to her lead teacher and the other individuals around her and administration, and used those suggestions in her own teaching style. Eagerness to learn more about early childhood education. Friendly and kind to other staff members and children, which is a big deal. To get along with your fellow coworkers and the children. I mean, even if you're having a rough morning and you come in heated, you know, you got to come in and change it up so that the kids don't notice it and your coworkers enjoy the work environment with you. extremely helpful during closing by assisting others and taking initiative. So she'll go in and she'll say, do you need help? Or she'll grab something, grab a trash bag and take it out, and that's a big help. And working towards her early childhood education certification, hopefully starting classes soon. I'm not sure if she's already enrolled. And this is Miss Cassie. So congratulations to Miss Cassie. Woohoo!
Thank you, Miss Catherine.
Thank you. So your flowers, your gift card, and your certificate will be in your box maybe tomorrow, but most likely Friday, because we didn't buy the flower yet. So it'll be there. And I promise it won't be the little dinky one from Home Depot. So in the June newsletter highlights things for you to look forward to. A new segment that we're going to have in the newsletter will be getting to know our awesome teachers and staff each month, because the parents can't come in the building, and we've heard their frustration. So we want to highlight 2 to 3 teachers a month. This June we're going to do Miss Shaniqua, Nicole, and Bonita. So if you 3, and I know Nicole's at a game right now, but I will inform you 3 individually. But if the people who are chosen will write a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, maybe 3 about themselves, their early childhood education career, the love for their classroom, something special about themselves, so that the parents can get to know them. They don't really get to talk to you guys. They get to talk about their kid, ate, slept, what they learned, if they pooped, if they didn't, and then that's it. That's the day. So something to get to know the people who are dedicated to their children every day. I think that's going to mean a lot to them. And we'll put it on the website and on Facebook too. That's okay with you.
When you're writing them up, I'm sorry, Shannon. I don't mean to, when you're writing them up, please don't forget to write the classrooms that you're in and the age group that you're in. We have a lot of multiple names. They will not know your last name, so they won't know which teacher it is.
Right. So we're going to reference what classroom you work with and the age group. That's a good idea. Summer fun will also be in the June newsletter, referencing water play, a little bit more lax on the curriculum end and more about the summer, the different things that you can do, experiments, more time outside if it's not like super hot outside, but a lot of things that will reflect the summertime and a little bit less focus on curriculum and more on the season that's at hand. And then also about the half-day preschool program. I don't know if you've heard about it. We've just kind of been talking, but now it's going to be official that we're going to have a half-day preschool program starting in August. It will follow the school year because the school agers will interchange with those students. And it will be taught by Miss Jada and Miss Nicole. And so Miss Hannah will then take over room 6 and have a co-teacher, and Miss Noor will have another co-teacher in her room. Kick off to summer open house. So we're going to do it. And we worked out some of the things for the plan, but we're still looking for your suggestions. And I'm just going to tell you about what we figured out so far. So it's going to be Thursday, June 10th from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. So that gives us time to clean and prep your rooms, but then you can still stick around. It's not too long where you have to go home. And I'm sorry if your shift ends earlier, but to do it on a Saturday, I know in the summer everyone has plans on Saturdays now. So to do it on a Thursday, hopefully less likely to have things going on in your home life during a Thursday. You're paid for your hour of time working the event. So for the time that you're there, you're going to be paid for it. Families meet teachers and visit classrooms. So if you're a lead or co-teacher, they're going to really value this experience because they get to meet with you and they get to engage with you in a more fun environment. They get to tour the classroom. COVID restrictions are much less now, so we can do these things. They're going to show us student work, so don't send a lot of it home. And when you start this month, I know every month we kind of take things down at the end of the month, and then in the new month you start new art and new projects. So try to keep them up on your walls or things for the parents to see as they walk around. And then show off your classroom environment. Really highlight where your centers are, showing the awesome things your kids get to do every day, making sure that when you're in there, you're bragging about those kids and the things that you involve them in and engage them in your classroom. With Flex Teachers, you are welcome to come. If you do come, you will be paid for that time. We are trying to get a bounce house, so we'll put on the playground. The kids will have access to the playground. So once they tour, they have other things to do if they want to stick around. These are other ideas. We do not have to do them. I was thinking like a craft table or face painting, because I know Kayla's really good at face painting. Bake sale. Then I know Rachel was talking about a lemonade stand. Maybe this is the place for it. It's up to you. Vendors and food trucks. I know that's a little much, so we can mix that, but I just was writing ideas. So if you have any suggestions, Joyce and I are all ears. And if you want to just send us messages of suggestions, I think that would be easiest now. Joyce, did you have anything to add about it?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. So water play schedule, and I know I've been receiving some requests from teachers of what days. So I'm going to explain the reasoning behind these days. The shared playgrounds will be wet on the same day. From what I understand and what I've been watching in the play schedule, correct me if I'm wrong, but room 3 and room 9, the 2s, play on the same playground every day. So they will have water day on the same day, so the playground's not wet for the other crew the next, whatever day it might be. On Tuesdays, room 6, did somebody say something? Okay. Room 6 and room 8, you guys use the forest playground. So on that day, we might have to switch the other groups that play on the same playground to a different playground so they don't get wet, so they can use, you know, another playground at that time. Summer camp in room 4, you guys use the same playground, so that one will be dedicated for your water day on Wednesdays. Thursday, 7 and 5, I believe you play on the same playground. Yes? I don't know, I always see some people switching off, but if it's not this schedule and you have some discrepancy, just text me now or message me so I can fix it, and then I'll put the official one out tomorrow. So you will know tomorrow definitely what your water day is. Room 10 and room 2, you guys have your own playgrounds, so it doesn't matter. I just put you on Friday, and toddlers and 2s do not have to do it every week. They do it however often they can handle toddlers and 2s for water day. Okay, so 5, that's what I messed up. Room 5, school age, play on the same playground as room 4. So you guys all play at different times, so you can have your water day at your playground schedule, and I'll fix that there if that's okay with you guys. All right. So I knew I messed up somewhere. Transitions in the classroom. So this is our training for the evening. We've been walking around and observing on the cameras. Transition seems to be something that classrooms struggle with. It's every age group, because every age group has their own crew of kids who need to wait for something. There's waiting in life, and these kids need to learn how to wait. It's a very difficult skill for them to learn. So if you visit this slideshow after I share it on the Facebook group, you'll see that this is a link where it says Child Care Lounge. And what we've observed are the students are sitting longer than they should be for lunch or other things. They're sitting and waiting, or they're waiting in line to wash hands. And then that's when behavior issues begin. Somebody pokes somebody, somebody shoves somebody because they're taking too long, somebody's just getting too wiggly and they bounce and they bump somebody. So it's a learned skill to wait, but when that time exceeds what they're expected to wait at that time, at that age group, then all trouble breaks loose. So we're going to try our best to use this training and apply it to our classrooms. If you are a flex teacher, feel free to say, can I try this strategy? I really want to test it out. The lead's going to say, go for it. And then you can test it out on that crew that you're with that time. So some suggestions are prepare your students for what's coming. So saying, okay, in 5 minutes, I mean, they have no concept of 5 minutes, but you give them a pre-warning that we're going to clean up in 5 minutes, or we're coming inside in 5 minutes. You can do a little musical cue, a bell. I used to have one of those hotel bells for my kids from 2nd through 4th grade. I used to use it, and they knew that the first bell meant that there was a 2-minute warning. But I had to train them. They had to know that. Or a visual cue. If you want to hold something up for them and they know when you hold that thing up, transition's going to happen soon. Number 2, cue them transition songs. I've heard a lot of cute songs, and especially with our Alexas, you can say, Alexa, play, and then whatever your transition song is, and there it is, and it's playing for you guys. You can clean up while it's going. If you have a chant that you have the kids repeat or that they know by heart now, that's something that will get them motivated and moving for the transition. So if you're asking them all to clean up centers because it's time to get ready to go outside, that's a great time for them to be chanting along, you know, the old Barney song, clean up, or transition songs that you just find that are fun on Alexa. Number 3, guide them to success. You got to state exactly what they are supposed to do. Carter, pick up the dinosaurs and put them in the bin. It may not work the first couple of times, but you can keep repeating what you're expecting them to do. And if it's not done, you have to provide that consequence of, you didn't clean up the dinosaurs, so now what's the consequence? Does he have to be last to do the thing that he was so excited to do because he didn't do what was expected? And those are natural consequences. And if they suffer a natural consequence, they're going to learn from that instance. And then the next time, hopefully they remember and fix what happened the first time around. Talk to them through their job. So if you really need to guide Carter, come pick up the dinosaur. He picks up the dinosaur. Bring the dinosaur over to the bin. He walks with you over to the bin. Put the dinosaur in the bin. Literally walking him through every step. But then they know exactly what's expected, especially for toddlers. They're going to need very basic instructions, step by step, and most of the time when they're learning to clean up, you have to walk with them. It's a lot of work, but I've seen these kids grow because you know, Rachel and Pam take the time to show them how to clean up. A toddler can clean, and they gotta do a lot of work to get there. Celebrate the transition. So if somebody did an amazing job cleaning, talk about it. Really praise that kid so everybody watches that kid and acknowledges them, and they want to be that kid next time. And if you have an expert cleaner upper in the class, you can make it a job, and they are the expert cleaner upper, and they go around and they assist the friends who are having some trouble that day, and they are the expert. They are guiding them. You know, oh, Eden knows how to show so-and-so how to clean up. Eden, that's your job, is to help so-and-so learn how to clean, and then they feel a little important about it, and the other kid gets that guidance that you would be giving them to clean or transition. So here is what's the problem. So I'm going to read it and you think about what's the problem here. This is a little girl named Michelle. Michelle is a 3-year-old girl. She enjoys playing in the kitchen center and interacting with friends. When the teacher announces that it's time to clean up and sit on the carpet for group time, Michelle gets very upset. She throws toys and pushes other children. When the teacher comes near her, Michelle starts screaming and saying she is not done playing. That's like one kid in every class, at least. So you've seen this happen. You have this child. What's the problem here? Michelle doesn't want to clean. Michelle doesn't want to stop to transition. And we didn't get any insight on if the teacher gave that pre-warning, if there was transition chant or song, and if they received any guidance. It's really, you were told to clean, she didn't want to, she threw a fit. And we see that. We see that often because these kids haven't learned the transition. So the change is tough, especially for kids who have had trauma in their life. Change is rough. You know, if they are a foster child, if they have divorced parents, if they just had a new baby born, that's a trauma in their life, believe it or not, and they are feeling it, and they don't want to transition or have change. As crazy as that is, they're going to reflect that when you ask them to clean up their toys. So focusing on that one child, or if it's the whole group, teaching them those transitions between activities. It takes a lot of time. So we do have to give them that time when we're teaching them. Expect the transition to go outside to be like 10, 15 minutes the first time around. Then it will slow down. Then it will quicken up. So children often spend a lot of time waiting, and we see a lot of behavioral issues then when they're sitting and waiting for lunch, and we've run out of things to do with them. They've washed hands, they're at the table, we read 3 books, we sang songs, now we're just sitting. And that's when kids start poking at each other and getting up and wandering, and they want to go play in centers again because they have that exceeded wait time for their age group. So one transition you witness often in your class, that there's problems when you're transitioning to go outside. Is that an issue in your classroom? When you're waiting for lunch, is that an issue in your classroom? When you're getting ready for rest time, is that an issue in your classroom? Where is the transition issue in your room? Because I know there's one in every room. I mean, we're not without them, but it might be different for every room. So 4s might have something that's very different than toddler transitions. Baby transitions are a little different because those kids are on their own schedule. But Miss Bonita and Miss Heather can feel free to chime in the things that they notice. Yeah, Cassie says from center time to circle time, and that's a big deal for them because they have to stop something that they're passionate about, and now they have to transition to something that is circle time, and it's not something that they chose, so I can see that being an issue. Waiting to get up from nap without creating major chaos of them putting their stuff up at once, right? So everybody wants to put their cot stuff away first, and to wait their turn is a big deal. Getting ready for fire drills. Is that a teacher transition problem or is that a student transition problem? We are not very punctual with our fire drill practice, so maybe it's a teacher one. But we will be more on our game, so you don't have to wait.
Because our fire drills are not planned. They're sporadic and they're spontaneous.
There you go. Yes, we live by the rule of spontaneity, and we do it by the book. For playing outside in circle time, yeah. So if they go from playing outside, it's just as exciting as center time, right? So those choice times, going to something that you planned time, seems to be the biggest obstacle. They're outside, they're playing on the slide, they're playing tag, and then you tell them we're going inside. It's like their whole world is ruined. And some have that emotional stability to center themselves and get online. Some of them run right back to the playground and get on the slide because they don't want to. Transition coming into room 9 from playground and stopping at the hallway door to wait for a teacher to join them before we leave the room to go across the hall. Yeah, that's a lot of transition movement for those 2s. And I can definitely appreciate the fact that you guys want to make sure you have your count right. You want to make sure that they're all lined up and you want to get them into the room. Some of these transitions are tough. Pam Mason says from lunch to nap. Yeah, that's a big one because you have to put all these toddlers to bed. So each individual child has to get their own transition. So just like we said, every age group has their own transition issues. And early morning transitions, yeah, it's a big one. Even just coming to school, that transition. Getting out of the car and coming into the building. Some children have a tough transition time leaving a parent and coming to us. Some have a tough time leaving us to go to their parent. So there's transitions throughout their entire day, little, big. So guiding them to regulate their emotions is going to be work in itself. All right, thank you for sharing. So before the transition, these are suggestions from the Center of Social Emotional Foundations of Early Childhood Learning. So this is what the specialists say, but obviously you know your kids. This is just what I took from them. They say plan your schedule to include a minimum number of transition times. So what they mean is going from one thing and doing 3 other things, maybe you can limit it to 2. So going into from centers to go to circle time. Do you have them go centers, wash hands, use the bathroom, and then circle time? That's too much at once to get to the end goal. So they want you to think about one thing to get to the next thing. I know when we come from outside, you have to wash hands, use the restroom, and then go to the next activity. But if we focus on what do we expect the kids to do when they come in to wash hands, if you're letting 20 kids book it inside, expect chaos. But if you're taking half the crew with one co-teacher and half the crew outside, you're minimizing your transition chaos, and you can give those 10 children for the first co-teacher their expectations. The other children are expected to get ready to transition, and they can flip-flop so the kids don't feel like, oh, they got to go in last, we had to go in first, tomorrow the next crew does it. But to have that breakup will minimize the transition chaos. You can focus on those 10 and really have kids model for each other what's expected when they go up and line up to wash hands. If you want them to all sit in chairs and you call them up 2 by 2 to wash hands or go to the bathroom, do that. Whatever you're expecting, state it, show it, and then they can practice it. This is a big deal for them to actually act it out. And then they can feel they got it right and they can implement it themselves. It takes a lot of work. So we're doing this now, so those preschool teachers, you guys can do it when you start your new class. You're going to get a lot of new children, and they're going to have new expectations coming into your room. This is the perfect time to show them these expectations and teach them to them. Verbal and nonverbal cues. So again, verbal cues, you're talking to them, you're singing a chant, you're just notifying the fact that we're going to have a transition in whatever fun way you choose to do it. And your nonverbal cues really go far. So if you have some kind of hand signal or they start to boogie on their way to transition, they have that connection between their right and left brain, and they're able to think about what's happening and then do it because you made that connection for them. Movement and words use the whole brain. Teach children the expectations for the routine, just like we said. Model it for them. Have an expert kid show somebody else, or just have the ones who you know will have a tough time. They're going to be your role models for that demonstration. So Carter, who didn't want to clean up, Carter's going to be the one who shows us all what should we do when it's time to clean up dinosaurs or blocks. And everyone's going to watch Carter. And for that moment, Carter's going to do it because he's put on the spot by his peers. So he can be the role model, showing everybody. And then the next time around, Carter, you were the expert. What did you show everybody on how to clean up blocks? And if he forgets, then you walk him through it. Can't expect them to remember right away, so reminding them and showing them is essential. Oh, we got somebody in the comments. Hold on. Oh, you're welcome. Look at that. Appreciation. Okay, so minimize the number of transitions. We already say that. If they have to do the same thing at the same time, like we said, break up the crew. If you have a third person, which we might soon because we're getting a lot of wonderful new people, then break them up into groups of 3. The first group of toddlers go in and they wash hands. The second group of toddlers, they're going to sit and listen to a story and get ready to wash hands. And then the third group is outside with the third teacher. So that would be in a perfect world. Okay. Somebody's microphone is on. Okay, so during the transition, sing songs, play games. In the creative curriculum kit, there is this thing called Mighty Minutes. It's a lifesaver for transitions. And we have Mighty Minutes, and there's like 100 to 200 cards. So if you copy the cards and you have them for yourself on a ring, you can go through these transition ideas and the kids will never have a boring moment of transitions because they're already written down for you. They can practice and repeat some of the ones that are their favorites. But while they're sitting and waiting for lunch, Mighty Minutes is perfect for that. I know Megan and Grace use it because NC Pre-K has it in their curriculum, but I bought that kit for the preschool group. So 3s, 4s, and 5s can use that kit. You can copy the Mighty Minutes and there you go. It might be a little too old for 2s and toddlers, but those groups can definitely use it. Okay. Oh, and then exactly what we said before, positive attention to the ones who do it well. You're going to see some of the ones get jealous that they want to do it well too. And independence, allow them to move into it individually from one area to another and while they complete an activity. So once you guide them, step back and watch, and then step in if they're having trouble. And self-monitor. Did I put all the blocks away? check my area. And that's something you have to verbalize for them, but soon they will internalize it. Okay, we won't do that activity. So if you go to this slide in the PowerPoint, there is a link there that says transitions handout, and it just gives you the snippets and the highlights from what we just talked about. All right, let's get into some more stuff on the center. Reimbursement, supplies. Items must be approved before they are purchased. I'm going to say it again. They must be approved before you go buy stuff for your classroom. Please do not go buy books, materials, anything until we say, we're going to pay you back for it. Because if you buy it on your own dime and we're not going to approve it because we might already have it, because it's too expensive, or we just don't need it, or you can have a supplement item, we're not going to approve it, then you just spent your own money for no reason. So please talk to us first. The supply list is the perfect place to write things that you would like purchased by the center. At the very bottom, I'm going to share it again in everyone's mailboxes tomorrow. Even if you're not a lead, you should know what the supply list looks like, and write on the supply request list. If you feel like buying your own stuff, go for it. But if you would like to be reimbursed, please get it approved first. I'd hate to tell you we weren't going to buy this and you just spent a lot of money of your own money and we weren't going to reimburse you. We do reimburse for contact hour courses. So if most people who don't have their certification yet, you need 20 hours every year. If you are a new hire, and I don't think we've repeated this enough, so I'm going to say it again, you have your Moodle trainings, that covers your 20, including your fire safety and your NC Feld. Those complete your 20 for the first year. Your second year, you can pick and choose any of the awesome courses that are out there. Some of them are on demand online. Some of them are in person, starting again, I think, because COVID is more lax with that. But those you can take, and we pay for those as well, as long as you give us the receipt and the certificate. If we don't get those things, it's like you never took it. So make sure you give us the receipt and the certificate, and then we will reimburse you. The Teach Scholarship and college work together to pay. The Teach Scholarship pays for your college. We do not pay for your college. So there are some times where we have to tell Teach, we vouch for this person, they will finish the course and they will not fail. Don't fail, because then you owe them a lot of money. But we can vouch for you, and then you can proceed with your coursework. Some people want to take more than the allotted credits. That's fine. We have to vouch for you. You will owe them if you fail any of the classes. So don't bite off more than you can chew. Just so everyone knows, we do not pay for college coursework. It is Teach. So if you're not enrolled in Teach, don't start taking courses unless Teach approves it. If you've already taken courses and you don't have Teach, come see Ruby or myself. Conscious discipline, big voice. I just put the link here. I'm not going to open it for you, but it's a video that shows a classroom of young preschool students, and they are teaching the kids to use their big voice. So like we talked about assertive voice for teachers, kids need to find their voice to say, I don't like that, please stop. A lot of the time we jump in and we answer for the kids, or they just start whining and screaming because somebody's trying to take their dinosaur. This is a video that shows the assertive voice from a child to another child to address a problem. They don't always have to yell and scream. They just say, I don't like that. Don't take my toy. That takes a lot for a kid to use that voice. So that's what this video is about. When I show it to you on the Facebook group, feel free to click it and watch. It's a little short one, but it's very useful and helpful. So use their big voice. And Ruby is preparing cozy area supplies for students to use during their self-regulation. So she has these kits getting together, and this is where the child, if they become frustrated and they're unable to use their big voice because they're just screaming and emotional and upset because Johnny took their toy, that's the moment where you say, go to cozy, take a break, squeeze these little squishy things, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do what we should have done when so-and-so took your toy. That's how we teach them. And their self-regulation is a lot to learn. There's a lot of work for them. So having them take that time to calm down from their emotions and then think about what you're saying, because no one's going to hear you when they're yelling and screaming and completely emotional. So giving them that time to just take a second, choose something cozy, nuzzle up. If you want to scream into the pillow, scream into the pillow. But there's a lot of strategies that they do to de-stress from conscious discipline and from second step, which we're going to share with everybody next time around. So now they're able to come down from that, and then you teach them. You should have used your big voice. This is how we do it. And then they practice with you. And that's what this video is about. Okay, so instead of saying you need to share, or I hear a lot of all done, you need to share. Don't know what that is. No clue. Some of them might know and still choose not to. So trying to say, you can say, I have a turn, can I have a turn when you're done? They're using that big voice, and they're using it with a friend, and they're making themselves heard. Now, it may not be heard the first time because the kid's in total shock that somebody actually used the sentence with them, but as they practice and they say it to each other, then they'll become more used to it and using their big voice and actually saying what they mean. Because you need to share, what am I sharing? My space, my toy. May I have a turn when you're done? Okay, that's the big voice video. I think I put it on there twice by accident. Okay, meal program. Most of you know this, but it is a refresher because there were several classes that didn't do some things in their meal program, and it takes a while for the person entering the data to do it when it's one person per class doing it is much easier. Black pen only, don't use blue, pink, whatever, just use black pen, please, because it's a legal document. Sign each Friday. Whoever the teacher is, whether it's the co-teacher, a flex teacher, the lead teacher, you do have to sign the bottom every Friday to authorize it. The counts need to be completed and accurate. At the bottom of every day, there's a count of how many kids were there and then how many had each of the meals. It's much easier for you to do the count each time or every day than it is for someone who's entering the data to do it for several classrooms for 5 days in the week for 3 meals a day. So that's a lot. If you can please do the counts at the bottom, just count up the X's that you have for each meal and for the attendance. That's really all you have to do. Circle your mistakes. Please do not use whiteout. Do not cross out mistakes. It becomes invalid. And the person who's doing the data, if meal program comes, we have to redo the sheet of rewriting it. It's a pain in the butt. So please just circle your X's if it's a mistake. If it's an X that shouldn't be there, circle it. And mark during service. Please don't wait till Thursday to mark Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, because that's not okay. If meal program steps in and comes and visits us, and there's nothing for that day, or even for that meal that happened before in the earlier part of the day, it didn't count. We don't get reimbursed for it. That stinks. So please make sure you are marking during service. So you just served lunch, mark all those X's of who was offered lunch. That's a big deal. Who was offered it. Even if a child brings their own meal to school, meal program says to mark them with an X because you offered them our meal. The only time you don't mark an X is if the child is absent for that meal. So some kids don't come for breakfast. You didn't offer to them. They're not there for the X of that, but they were there for lunch. You mark them there for lunch. If they leave early and don't have snack, then you can't mark them for snack. But if you hand them a snack on their way out to mommy and daddy, they got snack. Mark them. Okay. Cleaning.
Can I add one more thing to that? Because we do have so many new people that have just started. The people who have been there for a while, please remember to show the new people what they're supposed to be doing. Just doing it, they won't learn how and what they're supposed to do. So just show them that part of it. Make sure that they're aware of what they're supposed to do if they're in a room by themselves.
Yeah, I agree. Once you show them once or twice, it's not difficult. It's just these components are a lot to do if you forgot a few days in the week. So I can see where the counts get out of hand if you're on Friday and you didn't do any of the counts during the week. That's why we're suggesting to do them after each meal or at least at the end of each day, so you're not counting 3 meals for 5 days in the week. That's that. All right, cleaning concerns. Susan cleans all rooms each evening, and she focuses on deep cleaning one room
Johnny,
per
can I
night.
just add one more thing about the food service, because it's something
Yes.
that's come up recently? When we have children that are in a classroom, just a very short period of time in the morning, but they have not eaten in that room, we don't have to mark them in attendance. Once they go to their regular room with their regular teacher, they can mark them in attendance then.
Do they mark that they ate the meal?
Very often they're not eating a meal in that room, but they're being marked in attendance for 2 separate rooms.
Okay. So the
So if they
homeroom
just
teacher
get
marks
marked for
them.
attendance, once they get into their classroom and get their meal in that room, that would be fine. But very often we're finding a lot of kids are being marked for attendance and meals in 2 separate rooms again. So we have to make sure that that's not happening, because that is that the food service does not want that to happen.
Got it. Cleaning concerns. We have the chart on the kitchen door for laundry, so please make sure you are looking at your laundry day. Sweep up all the big items on the floor. Everyone's been very good about this. Susan uses a vacuum, so if you have cucumbers and chunks of mac and cheese, her vacuum's not going to be able to suck it up, or it'll get clogged. So if you can make sure that your floor has been swept, then Susan will vacuum the little crumbs, and then she will mop your floor. No clutter on surfaces, please. I know it's hard to keep the surfaces clear. I know that, but if you have a whole shelf that is covered in things, you just need to know it will never get wiped that way. So at the end of the day, you make your little pile, then at least the rest of that surface can be wiped by Susan or her helper. She is not going to organize things on shelves and counters. So please make sure that if you want it wiped, it's cleared off. We don't want to see, crumbs from 3 weeks ago under a bunch of papers because it was never wiped. Closing crew. You've been doing really well, but I know we have a lot of new hires, and now you are part of the closing crew. So each classroom has a slightly different checklist. Please use the posted checklist as a reference. I know Miss Pam has a permanent checklist for things that are very specific to young toddlers on hers. She wrote it so that the closer would know explicitly what to do and there'd be no confusion. So if you are a lead or a co-teacher, take one of the closing classroom lists, write whatever is specific to your room if it's different than our list. I know Pam has the counters, so she wrote to please clean off the counters and put the stuff on the changing table. This way, Susan can wipe them all down. No other classroom has counters but the baby room, so that's specific to her. You can get a plastic sleeve from us, and that way a dry erase marker can check off those things every week and then be wiped away. So the list doesn't change, but the marks can be seen that it was taken care of. This way we can hold the accountable crew accountable, and if something wasn't done, then we can say, okay, next time please do this. Or if it wasn't on the list, then we can add it to the list. And that way Susan knows that those things were completed before she starts cleaning. So an accessible posted checklist. These itters, eckers, and sakers, we talk about it all the time. We have a budget for materials. If you have yet to give us your list of things that you need, not want, need for itters, eckers, and sakers, please hand it to Ruby or myself or Joyce, and we will place the order. If something's broken, don't let it hang around. Either tell us, put it outside the fence, tell Mr. John. If it's fixable, we'll fix it. If it's not, we got to check it. And Microsoft Teams. I know Ruby is working hard to get everybody access to Microsoft Teams. A lot of our new hires don't have access yet. So you just need to give Ruby your email address or me, and we will add you to it. It has all kinds of contact hour courses. It's got access to the Teach Scholarship and the colleges, and pretty much anything you would need for classroom environment, behavior management, professional development, and other stuff. It's all on there. And it's all links, so all you have to do is click them. Okay. Oh, raises. Okay, you ready? So we are giving raises on the annual cost of living increase and will take place next week, when, I guess this next pay period on Wednesday. Yearly anniversaries up to the end of July were included. So if your yearly anniversary is within July, you were included in this one. And then based on work ethic, employees who go above and beyond for the school, students, and fellow coworkers. That is a big deal. If you do more than just your job and you are considerate and helpful and enthusiastic, we wanted to reward that. So those individuals got a little bit more, but if we haven't seen it yet from some individuals, we will reevaluate later on and then, reward those later on. And we will speak about your individual evaluations soon. We are doing observations through watching videos and listening, and then we're going to probably sit in on some classrooms and then speak with you guys individually like we did last year with some of you, but I know you had to sign your evaluation last year. So if you have any questions about your evaluation, feel free and come to us. That's what we're here for. And then remember, free childcare, if anyone received that, or discounted childcare, that can be given in lieu of a raise. So if you have children or a child and you pay a lot less than what's expected for childcare, that's in lieu instead of a raise. Again, open door policy. If you got anything that's concerning, come to us. There shouldn't be things building up inside of you for weeks at a time and then you explode. Come to us. If you don't want to come to me because you don't like me, fine, go to Ruby or Joyce. It doesn't matter, but you do need to come to somebody and we can work with you. So everyone deserves to be happy and enjoy their work environment. Be a role model for your students. If you're full of anger, then your kids will notice it. If you're gossiping about other teachers or about children, which should never happen, your kids will notice it and they absorb a lot. I say something and Eden will repeat it the next day and like verbatim of what I said. So she's 3.5, well, she's almost 4. It happens. So please make sure you are being conscious of what you're saying and your actions, because it really is absorbed by those little ones. And if you're happy-go-lucky and enthusiastic and caring and kind every day, they're going to become those little people because you spend 10 hours a day with them. 10 hours. It's more than their parents spend with them. So it really goes a long way of what you do every day, and it reflects onto them. Yeah, so open door policy. Again, Michelle, Joyce, Ruby, myself, we're in the office. Come see us. Vent.
I remind everybody that talking to one another does not solve problems. Only the administration can actually solve the problem. So please let us know. Don't just talk amongst yourselves and think that somehow that's going to solve a problem.
Oh, you mean gossiping, right?
Right.
Okay. Yeah, but if you want to work out a problem with a coworker.
Absolutely. Yes. But if you have a problem and you're just gossiping with your friends to let them know how unhappy you are, that won't solve the problem. That's just gossip. We want to solve the problem. And the only way to do that is to come to us and let us know so we can figure out a way to find a solution.
You got it, dude. So if you have any questions or if you want to just talk, that's what we're here for. This will be recorded. As soon as it's saved on my computer, I'm going to put it on the Facebook group, and I will put the PowerPoint on there as well. That's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and we will see you tomorrow. Adios.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Shannon.
Yeah.
So when is that administration meeting? That wasn't tonight, was it? Was it tonight?
It was, now that you say it, it was tonight.
Huh.
We can watch the recording maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. It was on the website beforehand, so we should be able to, I would
Yeah.
think, but, okay.
Thank you, Katie. Yeah.
I completely forgot until we were in the middle of the meeting. All right, thank you all, ladies.
Thanks, bye.